Y'all did it. Y'all did this to me. This is the problem, right? I'm sitting at home one day and I get a random message. Remember this? And this is what I'm sent.
I drove for miles just to find you and find myself. All these screams, all these voices in my head. You gave me strength, gave me hope for a lifetime. I never was satisfied. This time won't you save me?
Woo.
This time won't you save me? Maybe I could feel myself giving up.
When I got sent this, you get thrown down memory lane. I'm one of those guys who tends to stay in the moment. I love talking about the things that I've done, but it's equally as important to me as are the things that I'm doing. But this is a little different because this kind of lives for me as like one of the top 10 records that I've ever produced. And I'm fortunate enough to be able to say that I have a top 10 of records, having produced so many. Thankful for that. But this song is definitely up there for me because it represents a lot of different things to a lot of different people. There's like this tradition of singing in hip hop music. And I mean, you can point all the way back to like Bone Thugs and Harmony and Nelly and stuff like that in terms of being able to sing. But for me, there's really only one sort of era that determines for me how current rappers and hip hop artists incorporate melodics into their music, into hip hop. One example that I can think of is like Doja Cat, for instance, who started her career sort of doing the more melodic thing and has sort of transitioned into a more of a poppy thing. But you don't get the sense that she has to stay there, right? She can kind of jump back and forth. And there's a lot of artists that have that capability today on the hip hop side. And I think the reason for that is because of this era of music. A lot of people are going to disagree with me, and then they're going to point to artists like Lauryn Hill and point to artists like Queen Latifah, and I think that that has its own legitimacy in its own right. But for me, I think that what people are inspired by when they bring melodics into hip-hop, its current version, is this era, which is the 2008, 2009, 2010. And so for me, that's 808s and Heartbreak by Kanye West. That's some of Drake's first material, especially the stuff he was putting out 2008, 2009. But also that's Pink Friday, Nicki Minaj, which to me is one of the first times that you really heard a rapper sing a ballad. The only rap ballad I could think of prior to that, I mean, there's plenty, I'm sure, but the one that comes to my mind is I Need Love by LL Cool J. He wasn't singing, he was rapping that record. But yeah, Nicki really kind of put herself out there and being vulnerable enough to sing. Remember, this is the same person who eventually does Roman's Revenge, right? This rah, rah, like a dungeon dragon. Like this is that person, right? And so to be able to take the vulnerable side of yourself and put it down on wax for everybody to hear. So to me, that inspires the current generation of rappers, especially female rappers that go out there and sing. You got your Coi Lerais, you got your Doechis, who's really dope. You got your Cardi B's, you got your Doja Cats. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So there's so many versions of this. I remember making this track, and I remember it was a specific thought. I was working with Pop Wanzel, and he mentioned he had a conversation with her, said that she wanted to do something that was really heartfelt. So I remember sitting and playing this chord progression, which I had been playing around with, honestly. I remember playing that progression. I remember playing that progression. It kind of fell from there. If you listen to that track too, here, let me pull that song up. If you listen to that song, a little bit of reverse guitar in there too, plus a little bit of drum and bass. I wanted in the production to go back and forth between that sort of quicker feel and then into the slower feel. Because it still is a hip hop record. It still has to have that innate energy that hip hop records happen to have. I'm proud of this song because it's one of the first rap ballads. It's one of the first melodic sung rap ballads. And I think it, along with other songs that Nicki was singing on that project, namely this record and another record I did called Your Love, I feel like sound really kind of helped set the stage for a lot of modern hip hop singers. And that's not taking anything away from your Lauryn Hills and your Queen Latifahs and all the other artists that sang on their records in hip hop music prior to this. But I think when the current crop of hip hop artists are inspired to sing, I think they're inspired by this era specifically. And, you know, listen, I'm glad to have been a part of it. I'm thankful that Nicki let me be a part of it. So, you know, go stream this record. Go listen to it. It's a dope record.